Good morning, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm actually narrating this Wednesday morning, but I'll post some videos on Thursday, so I'm going to do a little introduction here. As you can see, we've got Jazzy on the back porch. It's a beautiful day. First of all, my mouth is not very good. Still swollen a little bit, still sore, eating soft foods, trying to avoid that side of my mouth. I am not going to go to Ohio for Thanksgiving. I'm going to stay here, and because of that, I'm going to be shooting some videos because I need something to do. My wife is still going to go. Second reason I'm not going to go is, let me talk about Chance for a minute. So Chance has been at the vet quite a bit the last few days. Really, the problem with him walking, I was afraid it was something really serious, but his heart is actually okay. I'm going to revisit some of his heart medications, but he hurt his back somehow and very weak in the back legs, has trouble standing and walking, and a lot of pain, taking a lot of medications. He doesn't need to go to Ohio, riding the car 3 hours, so I'm going to stay here with the dogs, and while my wife goes up there and enjoys her family. So anyhow, I need something to do, so I might as well run some trains and shoot some videos. But he's getting better. Another bit of big news is there's been a book going to be released about the B&O Portsmouth subdivision, which, as you know, Oak Hill was on the Portsmouth subdivision. So the check was literally in the mail to the author as soon as I saw the posting. So I'm looking forward to getting that. It's got a lot of maps and charts and stuff in it. And finally, on the community tab on my YouTube channel, I posted a hand-drawn track plan of my layout. Not a lot of details in it. Best I could do. Have any questions, you can ask me about it. But just did it with colored pencils and a ruler and pencils. All right, so let's do some switching. It's going to be a long one today, and then I'll film a new operating series starting Saturday. Okay, we're picking up where we left off in part 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch General Chemical. So the first thing we're going to do is pull the covered hopper from General Chemical. Again, I'm going to do parts 3 and 4 together, so this video will be over 20 minutes long. But hopefully everyone has some time Thursday morning before the football games begin and the family comes over to watch some switching. And from a selfish motive, it gives me an excuse to post these and get some videos done on Friday, because I'm going to be here by myself. I'll confirm the narration before I post the video, but I'm definitely talking softer than normal, so I'm holding the phone up pretty close to my mouth. Still swollen a little bit, but it's gone down and it's gradually getting better. And a week from today, I'm supposed to travel to West Virginia, so hoping I will be back almost 100% by then. I think it's going to be 60 degrees here today and 65 tomorrow. Our brief cold snap is over. By tomorrow, I mean Thanksgiving. So I'm narrating this on Wednesday, like I said. So now we're going to pick up the tank car that we're going to be delivering to General Chemical. Okay, the Athearn covered hopper that I just picked up. Wonderful detail, the etched walkways. Man, those couplers are just not easy to deal with. My wife is bustling around in the kitchen, getting ready for Thanksgiving, making all kinds of good stuff. And she's leaving some of it for me, so I'm not going to starve. I haven't run this GP40 in a while, and you'll notice the sound. Every once in a while I do a little blip. So I finally broke down and cleaned the wheels on it. It's better after that. I think that's more in part, well, what would be part 4. So now we're going to put the covered hopper, couple it to the box cars that were there. Left over, they're going to go to ITT Grinnell. And then we're going to run around the train. Actually, the reason we're running around the train now is just to get rid of the cars we're dragging around behind the locomotive. We'll have to run back around the train after that to finish the switching. So now that we have those cars out of the way and they're ready to go back to the yard, we're going to have to do this sometime anyhow. We'll run back around the train, and we have one car to pick up from Miller Distribution, and have to do a little bit of switching at ITT Grinnell. While the locomotive is running around the train, I want to talk about that picture I showed you of the book cover. Donald Schroyer asked me why I always run around the caboose and put the caboose on the end of the train when I'm running from Oak Hill. And in my experience, I'm just used to seeing cabooses on the end of trains. But it's not necessarily true. In that picture on the cover, you can see that there's a caboose is behind the engine. Now, I don't know. It looks like where that picture was taken, they were south of Oak Hill. There may not have been a runaround where they could run around. Maybe they ran around it when they got back to Oak Hill. I haven't seen any pictures in Oak Hill moving northward where the caboose is behind the engine. Anyhow, I do it just because I like seeing the caboose on the end of the train. The end of the train has to have a marker of some type. So if the caboose is behind the engine, it has to have, well, the flashing rear end devices didn't exist back then, but it has to have markers of some type, a red flag or something on the last car. And you'll still see that today. If you watch Jawtooth's videos of the Cincinnati Eastern, they always have a red flag at the end of the train. So anyhow, I put the caboose on the end just because I like seeing it on the end. But Donald's right. It doesn't necessarily have to be there, especially if you're just going a fairly short distance. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we have to shove the train forward so we can clear the turnouts we're going to have to access. So we actually have 2 cars to pick up at ITT Grinnell, and we're going to spot 3. We're going to leave 1 in an off-spot position. That B&O car there, the chassis car, coupled to the Southern car, that's an Athearn car that I put microtrains couplers on. And man, I had a hard time keeping it coupled to that Southern box car. It was very frustrating. I don't know if I've had to tighten the screw too tight or whatever, but man, it was I fought with that thing. Of course, I edited it all out for you guys. But it appeared that both couplers were working fine. They just didn't want to work fine together. All right, so I jumped ahead a little bit. Didn't get to see the opening of the gates. So we're emptying the spur here. So we're just going to go ahead and pick up the car from Miller Distribution at the same time. And then we'll shove these 3 cars down onto the train. Got a lot of spring action going with these cars. I haven't done any modifications to them yet, so but I will. So we just need to shove the 3 cars down the spur at ITT Grinnell, and we're finished. I'm using a different uncoupling tool here. Danny Irvin told me about something he saw on the internet. Might have been Model Railroad or Video Plus or something. Guy used these dental brushes, made uncoupling tools. And so I've got one stuck into the end of a piece of tubing. They work very well as long as there's slack in the couplers. If there's no slack, you're just trying to push it down between the couplers just like you would a skewer or a Rick's uncoupling tool. You're just forcing its way down in. It's not very strong, but when you have slack between the cars, and you twist it, it just really opens the knuckles really well. You'll probably get a chance to see it right here. It's just a trial version that I made. See that little brush on the end. So if there's slack, man, works like a charm. Now it won't here because that's an Athearn car with the Athearn coupler. I haven't found anything that uncouples the Athearn couplers very well, unless they're coupled to another Athearn coupler. And we'll stop here and close the gates. I'm using my fingers to throw the switches because the little turnout tool I have doesn't it doesn't have the flat end on it like the Rick's Picks does. If I make a permanent one, I'll make sure I modify it with a wood dowel or something where I can do that. Now we made the coupling, so all we have to do is head back to the yard. I filmed a lot of this when I was on pain pills. It's amazing, as few mistakes as there are. I didn't like the way the pain pills made me feel otherwise, so I finally just went off of them and just have toughed it out. So hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving, and don't eat too much. I found out that the guy I've been training for work had a medical procedure and is in the hospital. So I'm not going to have a very good Thanksgiving there. I'll try to find out some more details tonight, hopefully. He's over in West Virginia. Everybody stay safe.